So Vince is a licensed marriage and family therapist, but Vince is extra. He's like a unicorn because not only is he a licensed marriage and family therapist, but he has worked extensively in the field of autism and even came into the field of autism as a behavioral technician. So he gets it on a level that we need more people to get it. We're thrilled that he is here. Vince, we love you so much. And I'm so glad you're here with us on this Friday morning.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you, ladies?
We're good. It's good to have you here.
Good.
Well, and you know, Nancy's being politically correct, but I'm going to share with Vince that when we started the show, Nancy and I always sort of take our temperature, and I said, I'm struggling with anger issues, Vince, and I'm struggling with anger issues, and I was thinking about it this morning, and it's just anger masking all of the fear and grief and loss and lack of control that I'm feeling. And Nancy, do you want to share what you said you were feeling?
Yeah, I tend to go to the overwhelmed part of emotions. I get overwhelmed when I feel like I don't have a handle on things and I can't control things.
So that's
I think it's all that control issue. Yeah.
So that's where we are, Vince, and we wanted to be honest with you and with our viewers. But we asked you, Vince, to come and talk with us today. Our overriding theme for the week this week on Autism Live was managing stress. And I heard a lot of people say this week that everybody's over our current circumstances, and that there's a certain amount of critical mass that we've reached being shut up with the same group of people, and people are shut up in different ways and different amounts. Some people are going out into the world. Some people are taking the isolation really seriously. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, even no matter how you're doing it, you're still a little bit more isolated, or a lot more isolated than you used to be. And I was wondering if we could get some advice from you about, like, how do we manage that when you just like need to find your corner and you haven't had any time away. I love being home. Being home doesn't bother me at all, but I also need a certain amount of free time. And I said to my husband the other day, I've never spent so much time with my husband, and I love him more than I ever did. And I found out I really like him, but every once in a while I got to have alone time too. And it's really hard in this COVID thing to, find that time. What do you got for us?
So let's back up to the beginning, right? Everything that both you guys were experiencing and that you were reporting is mirroring probably what 90% of everybody that is watching is feeling, right? We have a sense of loss of control, right? We can't go out to where we want to go. We don't get to see who we want to see. We're not able to celebrate the way we want to celebrate. And as far as I know it, everybody in California just had all of their holidays canceled, right? So, the way it is we're living in an environment right now that is completely different than what we're used to. So, however, is that a loss of control? To some extent, it's a loss of opportunity. It's a loss of rituals, routines, and celebrations that we're used to. But we look within ourselves, we look within our environment, we look within our families that we're around. What are the things that we control? What are the things that we can experience? What are the things that we can do differently? And what are the things that we can change for the positive, right? I think a lot of things have been forced upon us to change, right? I mean, it would slam the door on March 16th, and that's it. You can't go outside. But then as things have evolved, we now, and I hate using this, but I'll use it anyway because it's a very common term now, using our new normal, right? We have our new normal, and that includes masks and temperature checks and limited lines and reservations at Target and that kind of thing. I think that's the next thing right now that they're talking, Target, Walmart, Best Buy, having reservations for the holidays rather than letting people just go willy-nilly. So with all that being said, we have all of these controls or all of these changes that are happening at the same time. If we remember, human beings as a being, we do not do well with change. we are habitual routine creatures, and we fall into these routines because they give us comfort, they give us security, and it gives us predictability. When that changes, we get very anxious. When we're not able to have direction with it, which, let's be honest, we haven't had a whole lot of direction, it seems to change week to week, that creates anxiety because there's no predictability. And then we lose our sense of autonomy because we're being limited on our freedoms and the things that we used to have. So that's creating all this anxiety. This is creating all this change because, again, by nature, we do not do well with change. And even positive change, if you really think about it, we don't do well with positive change either. We can go from, let's say, a 1-bedroom apartment to a 4-bedroom house. And somewhere along that line, we will try to convince ourselves to stay in the apartment. Because
that's just human nature.
It's human nature.
Is that just, yeah. Okay.
So that's what we're experiencing now. We're experiencing that pullback of, I want it the way it was because that's where my comfort is. That's where my security is. That's where my predictability is. However, that's not going to happen, right? That's at least not for anywhere in our near future. So we adapt. As we all know, humans are extremely adaptable and we will adapt. But now it comes with our choices. Now we choose to try to resist or we try to adapt. And that's where every family, and like you were saying, Shannon, everyone has different dynamics that are extremely important, extremely valuable, extremely truthful, right? With medical fragility to, a size of family, location of family, and the such, right? So we have to look at establishing new routines, establishing new traditions, establishing new celebrations, right? Not just not doing them. And I think we kind of did that. It maybe I'm wrong, but I think we all kind of did that for the, we're on 7 months now, for the first 3 months. I know I had my 50th birthday and did nothing. It's supposed to be a monumental birthday. I had dinner. I took a drive in my car. That was really it, right? We didn't do anything because we thought this was temporary. We thought this was going to be over soon. But now that we know this is elongated, it's going to be a long time, we have to establish these new routines. Coming into the holidays, I think it's important that we celebrate. I think it's important that we create those celebrations, either it be religious or it be through family or it be through, new routines, new traditions, while keeping some of our old traditions, right? Keeping close to family that are safe, doing the same celebrations, through the religious holidays, through Thanksgiving, even coming up with Halloween, right? We all know that at least here in California, Halloween and trick-or-treating have been highly discouraged and told that that they're not allowed. Okay, yeah. Doesn't mean we can't dress up. Doesn't mean we can't have, little celebrations with a limited amount of family members, maybe a friend or two, if you feel that they're safe, right? And they're able to come to your home, right? Create a celebration. Don't just discard it completely. Same for the holiday or for Thanksgiving. Same for Christmas. Same for Hanukkah. Same for all of our traditions in new coming holidays that are going to be 2020. This is the start of them, right? So if we build those routines, we build those celebrations, we start to create enjoyment again. We start to create things that we look forward to again. We start to create things that bring our family joy. And as we all know as parents, if our family's happy, that we're happy, right? But it's different. So that's what makes it really hard. And I think that's where our anxiety kind of waver up and down.
Mm-hmm. And are you finding across the board that parents are feeling this anxiety? This is really widespread and common.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So everyone who's feeling it, know you're in good company because we're all feeling it. We're all there. And I think to varying levels, everyone is experiencing this because, as I had mentioned, this isn't a female thing, a male thing, a Nancy thing, a Shannon thing, a Vince thing. This is human beings. We are habitual routine creatures. And so we struggle with change, even though it is either forced upon us, something that we have no control over, like a pandemic, or it's something that might actually be something that evolves us, something that creates new ideas and new situations. And going back to Shannon's comment, right? Finding new levels of relationship with our loved ones, finding things that, hey, I actually really like my husband. I actually really like my wife. My kids are good kids. Those type, it doesn't hurt, to figure those things out, because it forces us out of our ruts. It forces us out of our routines. And so we're actually experiencing more family nights, more traditional dinners, more game nights, more actual conversations about what people are doing in their lives. How was your day? I haven't had as much conversation about my day ever. It's now to the point, well, nothing's changed. Pretty much the same as yesterday. I kind of feel bad because I run out of things to talk about. But that's good, right? That's obviously a good problem to have, because that means as a family, more people are talking, more people are sharing, more people are communicating, rather than mom going to this room, dad to this room, kids to this room, and we kind of do our own thing. Now, to touch on, go ahead, Shannon. Go ahead.
Yeah, when you use that term "new normal," one of the issues that my son Wyatt has been struggling with is thinking this is going to be over soon. Like, okay, in November we're going to go back to being normal, and he keeps saying, "Are we going to go back to being normal in this month or this month?" And it's very hard for me to explain to him this could go on for a really long time.
Right. And I guess some of it is what the definition of normal is. What is, you want to identify, and for Wyatt's sake, identify what is he missing? What are we missing? What are our kids missing? What was changed in their routine that they're missing? And then see if we can find a replacement for it.
Okay.
Right? And put our heads together and find what is the replacement for what's missing. Because normal obviously is, there is no normal, there's just life, right? That's the old adage. Is what is he missing? What does he want? What does he feel restricted with? And it could be access to friends, access to school, access to, outdoor sports, access to some creativity, some, I know why it's extremely creative. So, maybe it's, painting classes or being around other people that are creative. So we have to find ways to replace that and give some type of equitable replacement. So I understand everything's virtual now, but maybe it's a virtual class, or maybe it's a limited number of people that you feel safe, that they're able to get together outside and maybe paint or draw, or again, I'm just using that as an example, but for whatever it is that we're missing, right? I know for me, I could just speak for me, my new normal and the thing that I'm missing the most is sports. I haven't played soccer and I haven't reffed soccer since March, right? And I was telling my wife last night, I was just like, I miss you. I turned into a little 5-year-old because we were talking about something and it just kind of came up and it hit me like a brick. Like, I severely miss being out there, being with, my friends. These are people that I've been with for a long time. I miss them. I miss the camaraderie, as well as I miss having, that fun every weekend. So what do? We have to adapt. We have to find ways to find other fun, find ways to connect in other ways. Now, one of the things that you guys had mentioned early on was finding our independence, finding the time that we need by ourselves, right? And the way I always view this is I always view our lives in 3 buckets, right? We have an individual bucket, we have a couple bucket if we're married, and we have a family bucket, right? All of them need to be tended to. All of them need to be addressed. So if we put everything in family and we do everything for family, and we're doing, the virtual school, and we're doing all the chores, and we're making sure everyone's happy, and we're running around left and right, and we forget over here ourselves, it all starts to fall apart, right? It's unbalanced. If you put these all on a teeter-totter, it's extremely unbalanced.
I would say it's worse than that, Vince. As you were saying that, I was like, ooh, my buckets are messed up, because I have the work bucket, I have the mom bucket, and I have the family bucket. There is no individual bucket, and there's no couple bucket. I'm in trouble.
Yeah. So we got to find those buckets, right? We can go to the garage, find a bucket.
In storage? Where are they? Are they
There's
in
somewhere in the garage, up in the rafters. We're going to have to go find some buckets.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
because to address it directly, we have to tend to ourselves, right? So if you need time to yourself, which we all do, we find time for that. Sometimes it might just be in, if we have younger kids, it's while they're at virtual school. Even though we're still there, find time to read your favorite blogs or your paper, or read a chapter of your book. Find time to have that cup of coffee and sit out on the swing while your child engaged in treatment, right? Find those pockets of time. It might not be the amount that you would prefer, and it might not be the way that you used to do it. But as we were talking about, finding new ways to find that is important, and take advantage of it. 15 minutes by yourself is much more healthy and is better for you than not doing that at all, right? So if we just do chore after chore after chore, expectation after expectation, back to back, and we don't find those 15 minutes, those nuggets of time, we have to find those, right? Like Amanda just had written, find time to watch your favorite show. Absolutely. And the good thing nowadays is it doesn't have to be total show, right?
Yeah.
If you have one of your favorite shows is an hour, and you get 15 minutes, here and 15 minutes there, that's okay. Take advantage of it, because then you look forward to watching the next part. We're looking forward to watching the next episode. That gives us joy. It's anticipatory joy. We look forward to what we're going to do next, and that encourages us to then do it.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.